the Holocaust. With me now is Gil Preuss, CEO of the Jewish Federation of Greater Washington. Thank you so much for joining me here in the studio, especially on a day like today. This is, of course, personal to your family history as well, isn't it? You had family that fled Germany?
Absolutely. My grandparents fled Germany in the summer of 1939, pretty close to the end date when they could get out. And because of that, they fled to Bolivia, which was actually one of the only countries at the time that was accepting German Jewish refugees.
And of course, the backdrop to all of this is the war in Gaza, the October the 7th attacks, more than 1,200 people killed, 240 people taken hostage. What's going through your mind this year?
It's the October 7th attacks brought back memories for many people, whether it was pogroms in Eastern Europe at the turn of the century, of the last century, or the Holocaust. One of the sayings, one of the chants that people have said for a long time, never again in terms of the Holocaust. But these days, they're saying never again is now, that this was an effort by Hamas to murder as many Jews, as many Israelis as possible. And in fact, the 1,200 Israelis who were killed on October 7th was the greatest number since the end of the Holocaust who were murdered on a single day.
And we are in the United States. The Biden administration had already launched its own program to combat anti-Semitism last year. The FBI has warned that hate crimes are increasing amidst this war. How do you feel as someone living in the United States right now?
So there's been incredible shock since over the past 3 months. We saw the attacks in Israel. And very soon afterwards, we saw the rise of anti-Semitism against the Jewish community in the United States, whether it's on college campuses, on local schools, on synagogues, against kosher restaurants or other Jewish business establishments. And so there's been a real sense of kind of a shock of what is happening in this country. Why are people attacking the Jewish community so virulently during this time? As Israel tries to defend itself from people who try to murder them.
I want to bring up the ICJ ruling. The Holocaust Memorial Day talks about tolerance. It talks about ending hate. And that ICJ ruling has talked about humanitarian assistance for the Palestinians who are suffering in Gaza. What are your thoughts about that?
So absolutely. I was watching the ICJ ruling that morning when they were reading it out. And I first understood that the legal definition is not the definition that I understand of genocide. When I think of genocide, I think of millions of people murdered intentionally, 6 million Jews in Europe. And their definition is very different. And so that was the first thing. And the second part is I do believe that populations that are attacked should get humanitarian aid. I do worry about the suffering of people all over the world. And I have a lot of sympathy and empathy for the Palestinian people and the struggles that they have. At the same time, we must also have the same level of understanding for Jews and Israelis that they should have the right to also live in peace. And so that is, for me, one of the greatest things that we need to be worrying about today.
Well, we're going to end it there on that message for peace. Thank you so much for your time here.
Thank you.